Hi everyone, Alex Jensen coming to you from McEwen Pavilion here in Moraga after a 70-60 St. Mary's win over UC Irvine. The Gales improving to 6-0 after this win tonight. The Gales shot 50% for the game, which is actually under their normal field goal percentage, their season-long field goal percentage of 55%. 4 Gales in double figures as St. Mary's continues to use a balanced attack offensively. St. Mary's hit 9 threes in the effort, including 6 in the second half as the Gales once again made the adjustments to pull away in half number 2. Dane Pinot played a huge role in this one for Randy Bennett's team, 14 points and 8 rebounds, but even more importantly for Dane were the little things that he was able to do, tipping offensive rebounds. There was a huge play down the stretch in that second half when Joe Rahan had a shot deflected at the end of a shot clock by Mamadou Njai. Dane tipped it off the rim to reset the shot clock. Calvin Hermanson came in and ran down the offensive rebound to get the Gales another possession. With the Gales operating as highly powered as they have been offensively this season, the more possessions St. Mary's gets, the more dangerous they become. Again, another team effort for the Gales tonight. Emmett Nahr had 15 points with 5 assists and 3 rebounds. And again, Joe Rahan continues to quietly be in the middle of many big plays for Randy Bennett's team. He had 10 points tonight on 3 of 7 shooting, but 9 assists. So you look down and you look back up, and all of a sudden Joe Rahan has 6, 7, 8 assists. And he's right in the middle of everything defensively for St. Mary's as well, as a lot of times he's guarding the main threat for the opposition on the perimeter. So expanding energy on both ends of the floor. You talk to these guys about this 2-point guard system. You go back to the days of Matthew Dellavedova and Mickey McConnell, Patty Mills. The 2-point guard system has been incredibly effective for Randy Bennett going back in time, and he's been able to execute that to a T with these two guys who seem to play so well off each other. Jock Landale gave the Gales some big-time minutes in that first half, and as well down the stretch in the second. St. Mary's tried to throw a number of bodies at Njai, the 7'6" junior out of Senegal, 7'6" and 300 pounds. He's a tough cover, but the Gales with Dane Pinot and Jock Landale were able to get the job done on this evening. Defensively for the Gales, this was really the biggest question mark for Randy Bennett's team coming into this season. They held Irvine to 39% from the floor. Alex Young and Luke Nelson, who were so effective, the 2 starting guards for UC Irvine here a year ago, combined for just 15 points on 6 of 21 shooting. 2 freshmen who have been impressive for St. Mary's so far this year, 2 true freshmen, which is even more impressive when you look at this in the grand scheme of things. Kyle Clark and Stefan Gonzalez coming off the bench. I think Jock Landale did that a little bit tonight in his effort, and really over his last 3 games or so, Jock has continued to get better. But he is a known commodity. When you talk about these new faces, you look back at that Stanford game. Calvin Hermanson comes out with a laceration above his eye. Kyle Clark comes in, gives the Gales 25 huge minutes, and there is no drop-off. It's beyond just the scoring for a guy like Kyle Clark, the way he operates into the zone, getting the ball at the high post and making good decisions. He has started to make better decisions as of late. The turnovers were a problem in the first few games, but he's calmed down. Everything slowed down for Kyle Clark, and he's making good decisions with the basketball. We know he can score. He can also defend his position. He's a physically ready-to-play freshman, and he's proven that over these first handful of games. Stefan Gonzalez has played the role of scorer off the bench as he's come in and been able to knock down the outside shot at a high rate. Not only that, but he gives Randy Bennett another ball handler off the bench, a luxury which he did not necessarily have in these last few seasons. And we saw when Irvine started to press in this game, Stefan Gonzalez quickly off the bench and into the ball game. Bottom line, this is a versatile roster. They all mesh well together, and they can find a lot of different ways to beat you on any given night. Point win. Now the question for St. Mary's heading forward, how will they do on the road? And that is what we will find out on Saturday afternoon when the Gales take on Cal, who started the year in the top 15. They have since struggled. They just came off an overtime win at Wyoming. They lost 2 games in Las Vegas to opponents that I think Conzo Martin, head coach of Cal, will tell you that he thought the Bears should have beat. But a very young, very talented team for Cal. It'll be a different challenge for the Gales as they'll see more athleticism with Cal than they saw with their other Pac-12 opponent, Stanford, earlier this season. Remember, this team is still young. They are still figuring out how to reach their ceiling. And offensively, it's certainly been an outstanding start and better than most people expected for Randy Bennett's club. The question becomes, how will the Gales travel? So after this 70-60 win over UC Irvine, the Gales improve to 6-0 and will head on the road to take on Cal in Berkeley next weekend. For SMCGales.com, this is Alex Jensen saying goodnight from McEwen Pavilion.